Welkom terug hier by die groot ontbyt en ons gaan nou bietjie jaag. Nie omdat ons wil klaarmaak nie, omdat ons met Renjaer praat. So ons gesels vanoggend met Brian Baragwanath. Hy was al by ons en al deelgeneem in die Dakar en dan ook met Leonard Cremer en is die navigator en hulle is nou met die Century CR6-span, maar hulle het ook gewen en dit is die, soos hulle nou noem, die 1000 desert race, the 1000 desert race. Baie welkom, Brian en Leonard.
Môre, môre.
Môre, Junie.
Lekker, Brian, ons gaan vinnig weer by jou begin. Hoe gaan dit vandat ons jou laas gesien het? En nou moet ek vir jou sê, ek weet nie, waar is jou ander navigator nie? Was die kar nie baie vinniger met 'n girl langs jou nie? Nou kry jy so lang, man.
Ja, Ty was baie lig. Ty is nou op pad Europe toe. She's immigrating to Europe. So, ja, ongelukkig is sy nie meer daar nie, maar nou het Leonard weer ingeklim. Ek en Leonard het al paar races in die vroeë jare gedoen met ander ou karre en so aan. Ons het baie gesukkel saam en ons het baie geleer saam. So, yeah, it's good to be back together and to get our first national win in South Africa.
Oh, so Leonard, ja, dis ons praat nou, ons maak nou grappies en skinder, maar dink jy nie 'n groot ou soos jy maak die kar stadiger nie?
Ja, gelukkig is Brian ook redelijk groot, so ek dink saam werk ons goed. En die kar is in anyway redelijk zwaar, so dit maak 'n groot verskil nie.
Dis great. Ons gaan net oor die race praat. Ek wil first, Brian, I just want to start with you and your career, just to tell people, I mean, you've achieved amazing stuff. And as you know, we're really into the Formula One now. And what I realized, even your career starting very early in go-karts, is it possible for someone to start like at 23 compared to someone that started driving at 7?
It's like most toddlers, you know, learning a language at an early age. I think at an early age you do naturally build your skill set in. So there is an advantage to starting early. I've seen it with all sportsmen. Very rarely you get guys that can start late on and get into it, especially, you know, after your teen years. But that being said, you do get special cases, so it's not always a no. And it also, sometimes you can cross-pollinate. You know, you can be a good BMX rider and come across to off-road or to motorsport and that sort of thing. So.
En dan, Leonard, ons leer jou nog ken. Net so vir iemand wat nou kyk vanoggend en dink, weet wat, ek is so mal oor karre en mal oor racing. Net jou loopbaan as navigator en hoe begin 'n ou? Waar begin 'n ou en waar het jou loopbaan begin?
Ons het eintlik maar met die motorfietsie begin. So ons ry in deurhou motorfiets en daar doen ons 'n bietjie van navigasie soos by die Roof of Africa. Maar dis meer 'n basiese tipe navigasie. En dan ook het ek vroeër jare redelik baie adventure races gedoen waar ons redelik baie navigasie gedoen het ook. En met die karre het ek maar saam met 'n vriend van my so 'n paar races gedoen en toe het ek betrokke geraak by Century Racing en saam met Brian begin race 'n paar jaar terug. Maar begin maar met die ouer karre en agterrond in die veld en dan leer mens maar soos jy aangaan.
En ons het nou die vorige keer toe Brian hier gekuier het baie oor die kar ook gesels. And Brian, that's the one thing that I've seen now, even on the level of Formula One or whatever you're driving. I want to talk about the balance between how good the car is versus how good the driver is. You know, that's samewerking.
Yeah, it's fortunately my position at Century Racing. You know, we can develop the car and the driver together. There's an element of bringing the car to the driver and bringing the driver to the car. Some people got different driving styles and that sort of thing. So especially in off-road, we've got a lot more dynamics there. We've got a third dimension of hitting bumps and going over dunes and that sort of thing. So it gets a lot more technical than Formula One in that aspect. Formula One these days, you know, the only thing they're really fighting for these days is aerodynamics. Yeah, so the Century CR6, we're constantly developing. Since we got back from Dakar, we built a new car within a month with over 2 pages of changes on it, changing geometry and sort of small things. We haven't changed anything on the bodywork, any major things on the bodywork, but it's a constant development. And to win, you sort of always studying the rules and you're finding the the best advantage you can make against the rules.
Leonard, nou wil ek by jou ook hoor, as 'n navigator, die voorbereiding. Jy weet, ouens wat nou niks daarvan weet nie. Kry jy nou daai roete net voor die tyd en jy het jou map waarvoor jy gaan, want ek bedoel as jy sê links en jy moes eintlik regs gegaan het, dan is jy en Brian in die boondoes in. Of ken jy daai roete uit jou kop uit? Jy weet wat is die voorbereiding voor jy jy weet soos 'n reis soos hierdie aanpak?
Ja, jy kry die roete redelik naby voor die tyd, so daar's nie regtig kans om dit uit jou kop uit te leer nie. Wat mens maar probeer doen is die roadbook so goed as moontlik bestudeer in die tyd wat jy het en notas maak, veral op die moeilike instruksies. En dan bespreek ek en Brian net 'n bietjie voor die tyd net om seker te maak dat ons weet hoe om dit te kommunikeer. En dan sit maar in die reis. Moet mens maar so vinnig as moontlik probeer die instruksies oordra.
En dan die samewerking tussen drywer en navigator Brian, how important is that relationship? And even just tell us about it stressful times. Is there times that you scream at each other a bit?
No, me and Leonard got a very good understanding in the car. It's very good to have a good gel. It can get hairy, especially when you miss big cautions in the road book and we end up making mistakes or crashing and that sort of thing. Leonard's got full trust in me. There's a lot of times when I ask Len, Flip, were you comfortable there? And he said, no, you know what you're doing. It's fine. So, the fact that we trust each other is a big advantage, and we walked a long road together. So there's definitely a special kind of relationship, and then also just the way you communicate in the car to get the information across. Because Leonard's looking at a picture and he's got to turn it into words. So we all understand things differently. So we sort of eventually develop our own language to explain pictures, or call it Pictionary in high speed.
So julle moet nergens gaan nie, meneer, ons gaan nou verder gesels en dan wil ek 'n bietjie deur hierdie reis gaan wat julle gewen het. Dit is ongelooflik. So 'n bietjie jaloers dat ek dit kon gedoen het nie. So bly net waar julle is. As jy net ingeskakel het, ons gesels verder met Brian Baragwanath en Leonard Cremer en hulle het nou net gewen daar met hulle Century CR6 en ek dink as ek dit reg het, is daar naby Appington se wêreld. So welcome back, Brian. Leonard.
Thank you.
Brian, let's talk about this race. And the footage you guys sent us, it just looks amazing. And before we get to this race, the impact of COVID on racing internationally and locally, was it massive?
Yeah, internationally especially, it's been a big handbrake on any races we wanted to do this year. As you know, South Africa has been earmarked for having our South African strain, which everybody's scared of. So it's been very difficult to travel to I think we were earmarked by 170 plus countries around the world where we couldn't go. So locally, the racing's still been very good. Fortunately, the Ministry of Sport has still let us race within reason. We allowed seven crew members per car. So every team, when we go to the races, there's strict control on that. I've actually also just recovered from COVID. It got into my chest quite badly the last week, but I've been fine. Tested negative yesterday, so I'm ready to go back to work. And life goes on.
Oh, it's excellent. So Brian, tell us about this race, 1,000 desert race, and it's 1,000 kilometers in the Appington area. What makes this race unique, and what was the challenges?
So the Desert 1000 is usually in Botswana, and there's usually thousands of Botswana fans that come through. The Botswana people love the desert race, so it's been a very popular race throughout the years. I've done countless number of desert races. I've won 2 of them on a quad bike before. So it's the first time it's been in Uppington this year, so it's been fantastic to move to a new venue. It's sad that we didn't have all our thousands of spectators from Botswana, but the terrain was perfect. It was sandy, karoo grass, in between the trees, little dunes, a good mix of, but I'd probably say, 70% sand and high speed. So it was a fantastic type of race for our car as well. Where we've got good suspension travel and big wheels and that sort of thing. We can really carry momentum. at high speed through this desert terrain. Yeah.
Leonard, ek word net uitgetrap deur my tegniese span dat ek nie simpatiseer daar met Brian en dan iets sê oor sy COVID nie. So as jy hom weer by die werk sien, hou hom net vir 'n rukkie vas asseblief.
Reg so.
So Leonard, ek wil by jou hoor, ek weet van 'n navigasie oogpunt, wat was hierdie challenges en hoe het jy hom aangepak?
Ja, ek dink die challenges van hierdie reis is maar net dat dit baie lank is. So alhoewel dit 'n reis is, moet jy seker maak dat die kar klaar maak. En as jy nie klaar maak nie, dan kan jy nie enige resultate kry nie. So ek dink die belangrike ding is maar om so akkuraat as moontlik te navigeer en seker te maak ons bly op die pad. Daar's baie sanddele soos wat jy nou kan sien daar, maar daar's ook baie klipperige dele waar as jy van die pad af gaan, kan mens baie maklik probleme optel met punches of met die kar ensovoorts. So ek dink is maar net om so akkuraat moontlik te navigeer en ook nie te hard te druk in die reis en te vinnig probeer gaan nie en seker te maak jy maak klaar.
So now, Brian, maybe a stupid question, but I see it's a 2x4, and sorry, you see that was my joke about now I'm coughing. Why not 4x4 and why 2x4? Just like on a technical level, explain that to me.
So the rules are different around 2x4 and 4x4. The 2x4s are allowed bigger wheels and we're allowed more suspension travel. And we're allowed to be a slightly lighter car as well. So we 1,600 kilograms versus 1,900 kilograms of 4x4s. They try and do a balance of performance between the different types of cars. 2x4, the car that we build, the main reason for it is it's more comfortable and it's cheaper to run. It's less maintenance, less moving parts on the car, that sort of thing. So Century Racing's business is building cars and exporting cars. We should have close to 10 cars competing at Dakar this year, of which I think 2 or 3 of us will be South African competitors in each car. So, yeah, that's basically the lowdown of 2x4 versus 4x4.
I was a bit disappointed. You guys did it in 11 hours, 27 minutes and 30 seconds. I was hoping for 25 minutes, but next year. So I want to talk about fitness. Let's start, Leonard. Jy weet, I mean, it's training. Ek dink jy ou besef dit nie. Ek sit hier met 'n sciatic nou vir die laaste 10 jaar. Ek kan 300 kg ry, dan moet ek eers stop en strek soos 'n ou man. So kom ons begin met jou. Weet, hoe berei jy jouself fisies voor vir hierdie tipe ure in 'n kar? Al is dit in skofte.
Ja, ek dink jy's reg. Ek bedoel ons moet fiks wees, maar ek dink ook die fiksheid is meer belangrik aan Brian se kant dat hy moet bestuur. Vir my is dit ook belangrik, maar dit is nie so belangrik nie. Die manier wat ons maar oefen is ons ry baie motorfiets. So ek dink dit is 'n goeie kombinasie van fiksheid en konsentrasie. En ek vind dit help baie vir die racing.
So Brian, like you said now, your fitness training compared to just being a good driver, you know, how do you improve?
You can focus on your reflexes. So a good thing to do is reflex training. Strangely enough, I actually use Xbox Connect for a bit of reflex training as well. So it's all about improvising and being out there. But yeah, the motorbikes is also one of the best side training methods as well. And then yeah, I do a lot of running as well. I have to keep my cardio fitness very high. So my average heart rate when we're racing is 80 to 90% because you're on adrenaline the whole time. You are, although you're not physically working very hard, you are under high stress. Your body's under high stress, and you're constantly pulling G's in the car and flying around. Yeah.
Brian, we're out of time, but just quickly, Dakar 2022. Yeah, we had to say that. Future plans. What are you guys working on?
So we're 6 months away. Like I say, Century Racing, last year we had four cars competing. This year we look to have up to 10 cars on the start line. So myself and Leonard, we hope to be in the start line. It's looking pretty good so far. And another competitor, Mark Corbett, the owner of Century Racing, he should be racing as well. And yeah, hopefully one other South African competitor, we're waiting to confirm with him. We can't reveal his details yet, but hopefully that comes through soon. And yeah, it looks like Dakar 2022 is going to be a lot of dunes, a lot of sand. They're going down into the empty ports of Saudi Arabia. So 9,000 kilometers to go, but all is looking well.
Oh, fantastic. So again, well done. Baie geluk weer eens en ons hou duim vas vir hierdie voorbereiding vir die laaste 6 maande. Dankie vir julle tyd.
Thanks for having us.
Right, so jy kan hulle gaan dophou ook en gaan kyk bietjie daai kar. Hy word hier vervaardig in Suid-Afrika. Dit is net ongelooflik. Ek wou nog vir Leonard gevra het of aan so resies tyd is om iewers 'n broodjie te eet, maar ek twyfel.